For our TikTok and Instagram fans, please visit greatdayradio.com to listen to segment 2 as we discuss evaluate what you can do better tomorrow. If you are interested in advertising on any of our social media platforms, podcast, or website, visit greatdayradio.com, click on advertising for more information. Thank you for your support. Let's start the show.
You are listening to the People Station on greatdayradio.com.
Hey, this is DJ Mikey D, along with my partner in knowledge, DJ D. Marie.
Hey everyone, it is always great to join you, my Great Day Radio fans.
This motivational podcast show is rather personal to me. Just the other day, I was explaining to an older man that I am planning on returning back to school in the coming months. In doing so, the person made an often too common of a statement that I was too old and shouldn't waste my time. Another female friend stated that because I have a lot of degrees already that I should not pursue anymore. While it is irritating, it also motivates me to not accept these discouraging naysayers.
Mikey D, I know you mentioned your degrees you already have. What degrees are you pursuing over the next couple of years?
I will be starting my master's in social work in the coming months. After that, I am considering going back to law school and specializing in family and estate law. At some point in a few more years, I plan on getting my doctorate in educational leadership.
Wow, now that is ambitious. I wish you nothing but success. Okay, shall we continue the discussion?
Here's something that challenges everything we assume about learning. Studies show that cognitive ability can actually increase with age, yet 82% of adults cite being too old as their reason for not pursuing further education.
That's such a fascinating disconnect between perception and reality. What do you think drives that gap?
Well, it really comes down to this outdated model we've inherited from the industrial age. You know, the one that says education belongs in your early years, then it's all about work until retirement. But here's what's wild. Research shows that adults over 40 actually have superior problem-solving abilities compared to younger learners.
That reminds me of a recent study from Harvard that found older students consistently outperform their younger counterparts in areas requiring complex decision-making and pattern recognition.
Right? And get this. Companies that support employee education see a 144% higher return on investment compared to those that don't. It's like we're sitting on this massive, untapped potential just because of some arbitrary age-related myths.
You know what's really interesting about that? The most successful tech companies are actually leading this shift, with some offering unlimited education benefits regardless of employee age.
Speaking of shifts, let's talk about how the education landscape has completely transformed. Like, we're not just talking about traditional classroom settings anymore, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, adaptive learning platforms. These tools are making education more accessible and effective than ever before.
That technological evolution must be having a huge impact on adult learners specifically, right?
Oh man, exactly. You know, the data shows that flexible learning options have increased adult student enrollment by 67% over the past 5 years. But here's what's really fascinating. It's not just about convenience. These new learning platforms are actually designed to leverage the unique strengths of adult learners.
Well, that makes me think about the whole financial aspect too. I've seen some pretty innovative approaches to making education more affordable for adult learners.
Yeah, and this is crucial. About 60% of employers now offer some form of tuition assistance, which is up from just 35% a decade ago. Plus, there is this whole ecosystem of grants and scholarships specifically designed for adult learners that most people don't even know exists.
The economic benefits must be pretty significant when you look at the big picture.
So, check this out. Adults who return to education mid-career see an average salary increase of 38% within 3 years. But you know what's even more interesting? The benefits go way beyond just financial gains.
That's fascinating. What other benefits are we talking about?
Well, studies show that continued learning actually reduces the risk of cognitive decline by up to 32%. It's like education is literally keeping our brains young. And here's another mind-blowing stat. People who engage in lifelong learning report 23% higher life satisfaction scores.
The way you're connecting these dots really shows how this impacts every aspect of life. The mental health benefits alone seem worth considering.
Exactly, and let me share something really powerful about that. Researchers have found that adult learners experience a 41% reduction in stress levels when they're actively engaged in education, despite the added responsibilities. It's like learning becomes this form of mental wellness.
That's such an important point about the holistic benefits. Though I imagine balancing everything must be quite challenging.
You know what's interesting about that challenge? It actually becomes a strength. Adult learners develop these incredible time management skills. Studies show they're 27% more likely to complete their programs compared to traditional students. And they're bringing all this real-world experience that makes the learning so much richer.
The ripple effects of that kind of personal growth must extend far beyond the individual.
That's exactly right. When someone pursues education later in life, they're not just transforming their own future. They become these powerful role models in their communities. The data shows that children of adult learners are 64% more likely to pursue higher education themselves.
Sounds like we're really talking about changing the whole narrative around age and learning.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Every time someone challenges these artificial age barriers, they're helping to rewrite our cultural story about what's possible. The research is clear. Our capacity to learn and grow doesn't diminish with age, it just transforms, and in many ways it actually gets better.
That's such a powerful way to look at the journey of continuous learning.
Let me leave everyone with this thought. In a world where change is the only constant, maybe the real question isn't why keep learning, but how can we afford not to? Because the data shows that lifelong learning isn't just about staying relevant. It's about staying alive in the fullest sense of the word.
Well, that is a wrap for us. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. If this podcast benefited you in some way, please comment by leaving a message at greatdayradio.com. Click on Let's Talk at the top of the page. Likewise, if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share the love. Thank you for being a Great Day Radio fan. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to greatdayradio.com. Are you ready to win some cool prizes and awesome giveaways? If so, you need to visit greatdayradio.com. Click on Join Our Contest and enter your email to get our latest newsletter that will update on the latest contest, giveaways, and new podcast shows. Also, with our successful podcast, many have asked if we would offer courses on many of the topics we discuss. Stay locked in as we welcome our all-new Great Day Radio Boot Camp. In it, you will have access to lessons that will help you achieve goals such as learning how to make a living as a mobile DJ, learning how to start and monetize your very own podcast show. These are just a couple of the topics. So, stay connected and get ready to level up for self-improvement. Again, please visit greatdayradio.com and sign up for our newsletter. Get ready for our next episode.
Welcome back to Great Day Radio's motivational podcast, Segment 2. Here's something that blew my mind. Neuroscience shows that our brains are actually most receptive to change in the first 90 minutes after waking up. But most of us spend that time scrolling through our phones or rushing to work.
That's fascinating, and it really makes you think about how we could better use those precious morning moments.
Well, it ties directly into this whole concept of daily improvement. The latest research suggests that successful people aren't just working harder, they're strategically using these biological windows of opportunity.
So how exactly do they take advantage of these optimal times?
Well, one key pattern is maintaining a constant state of learning. Studies show that people who dedicate just 20 minutes a day to learning something new show a 23% increase in decision-making ability over 6 months.
You know what's interesting about that? I recently read that CEOs of Fortune 500 companies spend an average of 5 hours per week learning new skills outside their industry.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really fascinating. This learning mindset creates what researchers call a growth cascade effect. When people commit to learning, they naturally start making better choices in other areas of their lives.
Like what kind of choices?
Well, take nutrition, for example. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that people who actively engage in learning are 42% more likely to make healthier food choices. It's like their brain gets programmed to seek optimization in all areas.
That makes so much sense. I've noticed that on days when I'm really engaged in learning something new, I'm less likely to reach for those 3 p.m. sugar fixes.
And here's what's really interesting about that connection. Researchers have found that blood sugar stability can improve cognitive function by up to 33%. So it becomes this positive feedback loop.
Oh, wow. So the better food choices actually enhance our ability to learn and grow?
Exactly. And this ties into movement too. Recent studies show that even 3 minutes of movement every hour can increase brain plasticity by 27%. It's not about marathon training. It's about consistent, small actions.
That reminds me of something I read about how Silicon Valley executives are now incorporating movement snacks throughout their day, like 2-minute dance breaks or quick stretching sessions.
Right, and what's fascinating is how these movement breaks affect our ability to process information. Research from Stanford shows that walking meetings increase creative output by an average of 60%.
Well, that certainly challenges the traditional idea of sitting at a desk all day to be productive.
Speaking of challenging traditional ideas, let's talk about meditation and reflection. The data here is pretty remarkable. Just 10 minutes of daily meditation can reduce stress levels by 31% and improve focus by 16%.
Those are impressive numbers, but I think a lot of people struggle with meditation. What do the experts say about getting started?
Well, here's something interesting. Studies show that starting with just 60 seconds of focused breathing can trigger the same neurological benefits as longer sessions. It's about consistency more than duration.
That's much less intimidating than trying to sit still for 30 minutes right away.
And you know what ties all of this together? Sleep. The National Sleep Foundation recently published data showing that improving sleep quality by just 8% can enhance learning retention by up to 29%.
That's incredible. It really shows how everything is connected.
And here's the most encouraging part. Research shows that people who focus on gradual improvement rather than dramatic changes are 71% more likely to maintain their positive habits long term.
So it's really about making small, sustainable changes rather than trying to transform everything overnight.
Exactly. The data shows that people who approach self-improvement with compassion and patience are 3 times more likely to achieve their goals compared to those who take an all-or-nothing approach.
That's such a powerful message, that being kind to ourselves actually leads to better results.
And perhaps the most important finding of all, studies show that people who view each day as a fresh start experience 44% less anxiety about past mistakes and are 67% more likely to take positive action toward their goals.
That really brings it all together, the power of combining small actions with a growth-oriented mindset.
Well, looking at all this research, it's clear that the path to improvement isn't about dramatic transformations. It's about consistent, small steps forward, backed by science and supported by self-compassion.
Well, I feel lifted and motivated. What an amazing podcast show. I hope you were able to gain some knowledge about your potential and your capability to pursue learning and with greater focus. Until next time, my party peeps, have an amazing day.
You are listening to the best podcast from the USA to the UK on greatdayradio.com.